It is something like that, wherein, if you remember, we used to write like this, right? I hope you agree on that. And to be very frank, if I'm not talking about from web development perspective, if I'm not talking about from web part, I mean, if I'm not talking about from Django, this is the exact way which a number of type of people are using it. Either if you are a developer, we are hitting scripts like this. If you are an admin, you are hitting like this. If you are using Python for automation, we are doing this way because people feel this is the easiest way to play with your Python scripting. That's it, right? The way you are doing with your bash shell, right? So sh and the name of the file. That's it. That's the simplest way. But tell me one thing, when I'm running this, in usual case, what we did yesterday, if you remember, every time it was asking like enter the name, enter the first number, enter the second number. Don't you think somewhere else you are wasting your time at certain extent? See, if my program, frankly speaking, if my program, which I have scripted over here, if it is demanding the username and the password, do you still feel it should ask enter the username, enter the password? No, it should not. So we should give something a shortcut way or some better way. Or another way, let's take in another example. The example what we did yesterday, if you remember, that is for uh, table. Remember, I enter, let's say 4, it will give you the table of 4, something like that, right? So let's say if I'm saying 2, it's better. It's a bit better actually. I'm not criticizing the other way which we did yesterday. So at certain cases that was also fine. But I'm saying let's open up with one more territory, wherein our objective is what? Compiler, file name, and the argument, right? So the way we were doing in your Java, I'm sure you must have done, or in your C++ or in your C sharp. So there is command line argument. So we are talking about that part over here now. So let's try to understand that if the same program what we did yesterday, if we have to rewrite in terms of argument style, command line argument style, so what changes we are supposed to? Is it fine? So our objective, I believe it is fine, that we don't want to get into enter the this, enter that, enter this. No, we will do by here only. So there are people, major people are there in this category only, where they deliberately want the moment somebody is writing down the command, then and there they can provide some of the details. Is it fine? Right? So let's step into that. If we have to play with this, what changes we are supposed to? Fine. Now for that, yeah, couple of changes and couple of things. Let's see what are those changes. And we'll see that is it is very like small changes are that we need to play around by. Let's see what about that. Number one, if you remember, uh, I'm going to use this screen itself, right? Otherwise, it will be a flip for me as well, right? So this is our first program, first function, print multiplication table. So base is still same. Print this, just for message only for I and range starting value. Remember the end limit, and this is a print. So if you check it out, your program, what you did yesterday, this part is still same. But there is one part which I skipped as of now. We are saying something like this. So there is a built-in module that is by the name of arg parse. There are, I think, 2 to 3 ways. If you check it out Google, you'll find there are 2 or 3 ways to implement command line arguments in your Python. So one of the way I'm using it over here. Right? So this part is as same, there is no change at all, but let's look onto the main section. Because story, we have to turn it from main itself. So parser equals to this. We are using the same module. So means the same module dot argument parser. So can I say this argument parser function would be available in this specific module? Yes, you'll say, Hamid, obviously. So that's what exactly I'm saying. We are saying arg parse dot argument parser. But when I'm using this, very important, we are just providing one parameter description and we are providing some sort of a kind of story for that particular piece for which this argument we are about to implement, right? So you can, it's not mandatory to write down that much of, but provide something. That is first line, first statement. After this importing, we need to take care. Third thing, so 1, 2, 3. Parser dot add argument. Keep on adding n number of arguments you want to provide. But there is a point. Double hyphen actually means optional. Are you getting the point? See, you drafted thing that is your function. So you are bound to define default by this way if you want to. But when you're talking about argument, command line argument, in that case, how this would be different with, let's say, if I written number and then second is up underscore 2, how there will be a difference between these two. So when I'm saying double hyphen, it will be called as to be as a default, kind of optional, rather default, I should say optional, right? So first number, what is the type of that particular argument? Integer. Again, any sort of information. Then I'm saying parser dot add argument. I'm saying another one, which is an optional. But once if somebody is skipping, what value you want to provide? See, default value. So we are playing very smartly, right? So default 10 and then help is something else. So this help is something like additional information. Type is something where you can provide a specific type of a particular argument. And once this part is done, very important, parser dot parse args. Because this statement actually grabs all the parameter which we are putting out there. I mean, the argument which we are which I'm mentioning over here. So that means this piece completely. So that will be tracked by which one is being handled by this particular parser.args, which is available in a parser one. So that means how it is going on. So at first step, it is defining that fine, we are going to use command line argument. Then we are adding 2 parameters. Then we are saying, boss, please grab the parameters or the arguments so that we can hold it in this args. Now, when I'm saying print multiplication table, means this args.number. See? So can I say these two will be part of this args? Obviously, and that's why I'm able to easily say like this args.number, args.up underscore 2. So that means whatever the value which I'll be putting, it will go out there, and the same value I'm passing to which function? To my this particular function itself. Is it fine? Right? So couple of things we should take care. Number 1, provide the module. Number 2, provide the argument parser. Third thing, add as many as argument you feel you want to provide to your command line. So right now in our case, we have only 2. When you are writing down, you also have to decide you want to make it a kind of optional or the actual one. If you want to get into the actual ones, please skip this double hyphen. So then it will be a kind of mandatory. I'll show you how it will be. So I'll remove this double hyphen, then it will flag an error if I'm not passing the other value, right? Fourth thing, sorry. is this parse args, which actually grab the values which you have entered. Entire args. So args is actually is a kind of array, which is holding all the possible argument which you have entered there. It is holding in this. And then once we are holding in this, we are saying, boss, args dot number, args dot up underscore two to get the value to that particular function. Is it fine? Now let me try it another way. I mean,
as we are giving the default value here, right?
Right.
Why we need to mention two things? The function don't need to mention the default.
Yeah, just try. I would suggest to try in that way as well, because here default it is something like we are saying when we are entering command line. So if we skip at that time, then it will take 10 as a default. But when I'm saying this part, so as you said, why we are giving this? See, this is for the when somebody is trying to execute over here from there. So in that part, yes, we need to take care of both the pieces actually, right? Now, if I'll run this, give me a second. I mean, the same way, let's say space, I'm saying, let's say 15, right? Say enter. See, what is the point it is asking for? We need to give this parameter style. So that means how I can give 15? No, I cannot give this. I should give up underscore 2 like this. Okay, sorry. Extra T I have added. Sorry. See, it is working like that. But let me try with one more change. Let me skip this thing, saving it, right? Going back. Let me try.
Can you increase that execution?
Which one? Okay, just a minute, right? See, it is giving error. What if I'll go with this? See, it's working like that. You're saying this one?
Yeah.
Font size of this, right? Help me out to how to increase the font size. Do toggle Zen mode. No. Oh, what is Zen mode? Increase text editor, increase terminal font size, right? Right, I think it's a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, no worries. Fine. So just see, when I gave without hyphen, and when I was trying with this deliberately, it was flagging an error, because in our case now the second parameter would be like this directly. That's a basic difference. Is it fine? Right? So when I'm hitting this, see, but on the other part, let's say if I'll skip with this, means I want to give only one parameter only, it will flag an error because you are deliberately mentioning this as mandatory. So you have to make it what? Which way? So just put the cursor, double hyphen, it will become your optional part. Okay, right? So just suggesting, right? Try with this because it's a good piece. Once we are done with this, so we'll move to your other section as well, right? Please try. And for this, I think you can't work on your that online compiler one.
Programs.
The way we were doing the black screen, right, yesterday. No, we can't do that because we can't give the command line in that case. So only the terminal people who are having terminal, so only then they can utilize this piece, right? So that's a small kind of condition, right? So please take care of that part. To make it more easier, I mean, like just to give you another thought that it's not like that when we are having this kind of function, only then we have to use this parameter. There is one more perspective, right? And that is this. Just look at this, where I'm just trying. I just imported the same. Then again the same your arc start argument parser. Again I put some your description. Then for argument number of arguments, right? Especially, so what I'm doing is I'm just adding first argument to be a username, providing some sort of uh, string input, right? Or whatever the message you want to give, and plus something like your another argument, and I named it as an text. Now I'm hitting the same parser.parse argument. Let's say I want to fetch the values of both the arguments, right? So what I'm doing it is, because as I said, whatever I'll enter in my prompt, so that value will go out there in rgas. Now from that rgas dot username plus rgas dot text will give me the value actually. And when I'm running it with this way, give me a second. Right, this thing. See, username Hermeet text 20 or whatever. Fine. This is the basic implementation of command line argument, wherein you have to pass on module, then argument parser, the list of arguments, then parser.parse args. You have to hold it in some variable and get it something like this. Is it fine? Right? So you can try this as well if you want to give it to your basic.
This is saying that's what we did.
Yeah,
previously.
exactly. Like I said, I just moved it that particular function part. That's it. So base is this only. Yeah. Like, what about string data type, and then how we can manipulate with the same, right? So in Python, a string is a sequence of characters enclosed within single quote or a double quotes, right? Which we saw. Yes, exactly. Strings are immutable, meaning once string is created, its content cannot be modified or something like that, right? So I'm saying greeting, hello world, something like that. How we can implement those pieces? Number one, if you remember first underscore name, remember this style of casing, snake casing, right? We said. So we are just saying first name to be a John, last name would be a Doe. Then how we are concatenating both the pieces? So first variable, right? Plus blank space we are adding up, and plus again the other variable. So by this way, we are just concatenating two different strings with this concatenation operator. So this is first a generic way, right? There is another way, that is formatted concatenation. Just see, full name equals to f within double quotes. We define first variable within the curly brace, second variable within the curly brace, right? And a gap, right? This will also give you the same sense what we are doing it over here, right? So these are two ways. So one is the conventional style, which we usually do, but there is another one that is through your formatted part, which take care of variables defined within curly brace, again variable defined within your curly braces. Is it fine? Then we saw how to get the length, right? So there is a function called len to get the length of your string part. We'll come to questions or scenarios based upon this. But let's go through with those pieces first, and then we'll talk about those specific pointers as well. Then we have something called substring style as well. So just taking an example, let's say we have text to be holded as in hello world, and I'm saying subtext, text 0:5. So 0, the starting, 5 total, right? So we are referring to that particular, and then we are getting this hello. So subtext, we are getting this, but there is very interesting thing over here also. You can see :5. So first 5 characters we can fetch like this as. So just imagine if I'll replace this 5 with some variable called I. And if I'm increasing the value of 5, so we'll get something, right? So the series, those kind of thing, right? Similar, when I'm saying print text 7 colon. So 7th onwards, right? So it says 7 to the end. So 7 index 7 to the end. So onwards itself. So these are good things, right, which we can work upon. So let's try this one as well, right? And once you are done with this piece, so we can try with this also. You can see for I in range, remember range, the starting value and the ending value, right? Whatever. And I'm saying text of, remember colon of I. What is colon of I? Is style of this. So first 5 characters. So just imagine when we are running this loop for the first time, what is the value of I for the first time?
0.
See, 1.
Yeah, 1. Okay.
Right? That's okay. So 1. So we are saying colon 1. So first one character, right? Similar when I'm saying incrementing the value of I by 1, so that is 2. So colon 2, colon 3, colon 4, colon 5. Right? So it would be a kind of again the series itself. Right? So similar. Like this way. So it's not only that we can give it this way. Yes, the point is we can play with this particular piece also, right? Done, I believe. Yeah, great, great. So now if I'll use the same hello world, if I'm running it like this way, it is giving me this. But let's have a small, very small change within this itself. Let's say I use this thing upper, right? Now when I run this, every letter would be in your capital one, right? So the string was mix of capital and small, but when I say dot upper, it will convert the entire string towards the uppercase, right? So first it will pick H, will convert to upper, HE towards upper, HEL towards upper. So every time we are just converting towards that, right? Either we can use this upper on the top as well. That could be another way, the better way, because once we get the string, we can directly make it towards the upper as well. But I'm just showcasing that it is not that this only operation we are performing this along with this also, right? Right. So what do you want to search? So let's say when we reach to this point, what do you want to search? I'll enter world. I will enter world. Then let's say what is the new string? Let's say if I'm saying Harmeet, so it should replace that world with Harmeet value. That is what exactly I'm looking for, right? I'm repeating my words. I'm just saying once we reach to this point, that is this, it should ask what do you want to search. At runtime, I will enter either hello or world or any other thing, any string. Then when I'm saying this, so this new string will be replaced in the this particular string where we will find that particular searching criteria, right? How to get into that? Let me try. Now, first is text, because that is what exactly we have our string dot. There is method called replace. There is function called replace. Search, comma, new str. So what will happen in this string? Means this. It will look for this string, and wherever it finds this string in this, it will replace that, right? So if I'll try Give me a minute. This thing. Give me a minute. What you want to search? Let's say world. What is the new string? Let's say Hermeet or India. Okay, let's go with India only.
That's okay.
Right? Okay, sorry, I haven't printed that. Sorry, that's my mistake, right? So I should say print text back again. Sorry. Mhm. What is happening?
Text we define in the top, that is printing that one. So we need
No, it
to
should not like
give
that.
these two variables.
It should replace.
We store a variable, new.
I think we should replace it and we have to hold it there only. We should say text equal to. Yes, either we can print exactly. We can say like this also. Oh, what is going on?
That got deleted.
What is happening? Got replaced. Okay, no worries. So text dot replace, right? What we were looking for search, what we want to replace it, a new string, and then the bracket, that's it. Right? How it should work. So this thing, I think it should be case sensitive, right? So just check that also, right? Yeah, now it's working. Let me try with that if it is case sensitive or not, right? Just give me a minute. Yeah, it is case sensitive. Okay. So we are talking about a function called replace, right? So just try this as well in your existing one. Right? Then it's the easier one, right? So just try this as well, right? Very small program, it's easier for you, right? I'm sure. So we are saying write a program that will accept 5 book names from the user. And while entering book names, just make sure if someone is entering spy or hack, it should remove that with the not allowed word. And let's do one thing. Post acceptance display list of books. That's it. So just try this. So we have to get 5 book names from the user. So we have to put those 5 book names, right? But when somebody is using any of these 4 words, it should replace it with this not allowed. This Anglo bracket not allowed. So you should replace it that. That's it. Correct. I tried this way, right? Maybe that would be helpful to you guys, right? Maybe you must have done something else, right? I tried that by this way. I just created a function called get books, a plain variable I defined books for I in range to 5 because I wanted to get 5 times, right? So I stepped into that way only. So book, a plain single variable equal to input. I'm getting the a kind of book name from the user, right? Then I'm saying straight away if spy and book dot lower. So whatever with the book name which I enter, I'm lowering that particular book name and I'm comparing, is it really spy is there in that particular complete name of the book, right? So if it is, let's say X, Y, Z, ABC or Hermes World, this, that, so nothing is there in that. But let's say if I entered, this is Spy World. So yes, this gets true. Further, what I'm saying is over here is just see book dot lower. So let's take an example. Let's say if I enter over here, this is Spy World, right? So when I'm saying this is Spy World, or let's say forget about this. Let's do it another way. This could be right. So at this point, I'm putting up this. This is spy world, right? Then what do you say? This condition gets true for this or not?
True, true.
Definitely, because what exactly we are doing, I'm just saying, please lower this complete book. And I'm finding is it spy is there in this? Yes, it is there. Now, what exactly I'm doing? I'm just saying book dot lower because I want to get it again in the lower format. Dot replace. We all know what replace is all about. It start finding with this particular piece, right? Because as we have already lowered it, so entire piece gets converted into lower one. And then I'm saying, please find this word and convert it out there with your not allowed one, right? Similar, I tried for your hat also the similar way. Why I did this? Because my point was once I accept all the book names, then I have to display. See, if it is array, that could have been different story. But without array, I tried by this way. So what exactly I'm doing it over here? See, books, what was there in books? A plain string plus equal to book plus slash backslash n. You know what it will do? First, what was there in books? Blank. What is there in book? This complete. This is spy word. This plus backslash n will be added in this books. When I'm going to add one more book by this, let's say the other book is, let's say, uh, anything, let's say universe, right? So that universe again will be compared with this. Nothing is there, nothing is there. But again, this time, what will happen? Universe plus backslash n. So I'm keep on adding book along with backslash n. I'm holding in this books variable. Once this part is done, I'm returning the books. Now, where I'm returning the books, so that I can carry on this books to my another function called display books, where I'm just displaying the books part. Again, I'm saying this could be done with an array as well, right? Would be bit better, definitely, right? But I don't want to get into array, so I opted for this particular piece as well. Is it fine? So any query from your side?
Can we use a or operator for
See, we in terms of or there is a problem that ultimately if or operator in that case, so is it you want to replace it with this? Okay, fine. That's yes, you can use with or operator
If
also.
we have 10 not allowed words, we can't write 10.
Sorry, 10 not allowed word.
Yeah.
Uh,
For example, spy hat and similar such 10 words are there which are not supposed to be allowed. Do we have to write that if condition for 10?
no, no need. Because it will replace wherever spy would be there in the complete book with all not allowed word.
No, no, no. Her ask was now you asked us to replace spy or hack, right? Like that, spy hack, let's say like alpha,
Okay, some
beta.
more 10 words.
Ah,
Okay, okay. See, in that case, the best idea is array. Because this is inappropriate. I have done this. This is inappropriate. Appropriate. Why we are? Because we are not using array. Let's say if the same case, same story, we have to get into array as well. Give me a second. We have to use this way. I'll let you know. I think this is your point. Here I can mention all the 10 words. So this is much appropriated. That's why I said earlier, this is here I'm using array. So whatever the restricted words, I'll keep on putting like you were saying, 10 words, 20 words, whatever. Then in that case, see, the best is over here. We are getting the values same as usual, the way we did last, but we are using what? For WD in restricted words. So all the restricted words, let's say 2 words, 3 words, 10 words, all those 10 words will be picked up, will be holded in this WD. And that WD we are comparing in what? Again, in the same every book. So this is much more appropriate as compared to the last one, because in last there are some sort of limitations because n number of if conditions. Let's say we have to change it with this that again it will be a problem. And like you said exactly, what if we have more words? Because that would be a probable, because when you talk about AI based scripting, you see when maybe I don't know, but have you ever tried creating bot in your bash or creating bot in your this Python? That is again the same thing, right? I'm sure you must have heard that whenever you're interacting with a bot, they have drafted some words out there. Hello, welcome, these kind of things and all that. So it is reverting with those chunks only. In that case, it is good practice to have it in an array actually. That's very true. Because if we have array, restricted words array, let's say welcome words array, greeting words array. So I can easily chunk in that. So that is what exactly bot style. And that, yes, that's why it's so this is a more appropriate as compared to the last example. But there is a difference. If somebody is saying like if somebody done with this, so if you don't want to get into array, that one is good. But if you are free to go for any which way, I think this would be more appropriate rather than the other one. There is one more change we should go for. If you look onto this, there is a problem, kind of problem. Don't you think this is explicitly we have to play with this? Now just imagine what if we create books as an array would be better. Because we can use, remember yesterday we were talking about enumerate, right? Remember? So we can use that enumerate over here also. But that's a secondary thing, right? So right now, if I talk about current situation, we have two ways. One, the which I shown earlier, where as far as restricted words part are concerned, no, we are just deliberately using two different multiple if statements. But this is more appropriate because here we are using the array for those restricted words, and I'm using a specific loop for iterating from that restricted words. Fine. So you can try this as well, right? If you want to get into this.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Can you open the previous?
Yeah, sure, sir. So in reality, there could be three ways to accomplish this task. One is this, the other one is wherein we are using your restricted one array, and third one is for books also we will use another array. This one is the right hand side is the array one, the left one is without array, right? Left part is done, right? We are done with left part, right? All of us? Okay, fine. Just the last point, which I was talking about earlier. See, books I define as an array. Rather this, I define as an array. The only difference is, see, I'm just playing with the string, right? Logically, see, output is fine, but that's a different issue. Actually, what we are supposed to, we should use this style. Why? There is a reason. Imagine if we have thousands of books. So you can say, I mean, what is the problem? My books will have 1,000 lines. That is okay. But boss, what will happen when in future, when sir has written books string to me, I have to search in that. I'll be in trouble. But if it is, let's say sir has returned me as an array, like in this, see, I can iterate from that array easily. So this code is working fine, no problem at all, but I would suggest more recommended way is this. So this is the final proper way. Why? For restricted words, I mean, have used array. For the storage of all the books, again, I have defined as an array. How to add it on that? Books.append. That's it. Now the good part is once the books addition is done, we are returning the books and see the implementation which we have already done yesterday. I told there is something called enumerate, which help you to iterate. That's a very best idea. Let's say sir has returned me books. Now, when I'm using this, maybe he will say, Hamid, every fifth book I have to use. Doing this means every fifth book, this would be easier. This would be tougher for me. Because how I can refer all the lines in there. See, reading a line, I mean, reading a file would be a trick, right? Because I have to explicitly take variable. I have to explicitly take care of other parameters as well. But as we are already talking about enumeration, this would be better. Fine. So we have three versions. One, which I have shown earlier on the left-hand side, that was simple, no problem at all. But we make it more refined in those situations where we have a number of restricted words, then we will be in trouble. Because in that case, we were using multiple if statements. Here, it's working for us. But why I'm saying this is more appropriate only for one reason. Because for final outcome, I have created books as an array and I'm adding every entry of a book within that array. And I'm returning the array here and I'm passing to there. And this I'm using same enumeration style. So this is more appropriate. Our job is done with this as well. I'm not saying this is incorrect. This is fine. But important point is we should not focus only on the output. We should also focus on future perspective as well. Because in future, it may possible, sir wanted to say, Harmeet, whatever the books you are having, I want every 10th book, every 5th book. Or maybe, let's say he will say, Harmeet, we have to search, or we have to create a report, then I'll be in trouble. So best appropriate way is this, wherein for the storage part also, see, we used books for what? Storage. For the storage part also, we should use some array mechanism so that it will be good for the holding of the values. That is just the basic suggestion. So we are just improvising our code from 1, 2, and the 3. So it's not like that first is not working. First was working. But the problem was the moment we have more restricted words, we have to put more if conditions. Then we step into this. For restricted words, we created an array. So we are putting ourselves in a safer side. But the left side, I mean, like the latest third version, I feel this is more appropriate because for the storage also, we are saying let's use some array as well so that the values can be held to provide enumeration. That's it. Fine. So try. If it is, once you are done with that, so very small changes as compared to this, you can offer that also, right?